and behind the scenes, you see a real diminished President Biden. You see him in front of the crowds, and he's great and cheering and lively and energetic.
Parades beyond belief.
And then behind the scenes, it's like the air going out of a balloon. And it reminded you of your dear departed father who passed from Parkinson's. Tell us about that moment.
Yeah, I mean, we just had this moment where he met the president of Ireland, and the whole tour was going extremely well, and the president was in great spirits. And it reminded me, this is my father who was suffering from Parkinson's later in life. You know, we'd have a family reunion, and he'd be all charged up, and you know, he had that energy, and you could hear his voice. And then when it was over, the air came out of the balloon. Right after all of these events, when you saw the President of the United States, it was, unfortunately, the air going out of the balloon. It was a whole different person. You could hardly hear him speak. He was, you know, breathy, and movement of his eyes, and very frail. So, you know, at that moment, you know, I'm with my friend Brian Higgins from Buffalo, and
Congressman from New York, yeah.
Yeah, and his father passed from a neurodegenerative disease. We actually felt the same thing in watching what the president was going through. And the striking part of it is just how much no one lives in a vacuum. It's all very personal.
Yeah.
This was a tragedy that we saw, not just with our family, but with the president that we liked and respected. It's hard to watch.
And you felt like you couldn't say anything because Democrats, when you ultimately, after the debate, when you started going public, they called you a traitor. They were pretty nasty.
Just appreciate that the fact at the time, part was due to COVID. We didn't have much interaction with the president. And then I'm firmly of the belief that he was cloistered by those closest to him. So I would go a year without actually being close to the President of the United States. And it was a year to the State of the Union, where he had a great performance, and then immediately afterwards you saw the same reaction, and you felt how frail he was. So it was this point in time, and of course the debate performance, well, he can no longer hide it. This is affecting his performance, and clearly he couldn't do both. He couldn't be President of the United States and go through a vigorous campaign. And in talking to pollsters, we saw what it was going to do to the rest of the ticket, which was just this massive red wave. You had to stand up and say something.
So I know